What's up, guys? NJ Sweat's back. We're back with the UFC. We've been doing football a little bit, but we're coming back for UFC 253 because it's a very good card and a huge main event. Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. And we want to give you guys some picks for this weekend. I think a lot of people are going to buy the pay-per-view and watch it. And I actually haven't had time to really research the fighters and the picks. So we're going to give it to Joey this week, and he'll hook you up with the picks. He's our regional NJ Sweats UFC expert.
Specialist. This is where
So we were talking about it a little before. Why don't you start us off here? What you like for the weekend?
So I'll start us off in the first fight of the night. I'm gonna go with Kadis Ibragimov, and that is because it seems like they're feeding this guy Danilo Marquez to him. Danilo Marquez. Well, first of all, I'll start with this. Kadis Ibragimov has there's no reason for him to be a favorite at all. He's coming off 3 straight losses in the UFC against, Ed Herman, who's, we saw him against Mike Rodriguez. He's on the way out. Da Un Jung submitted him. He could be okay, but we haven't seen a lot from him yet. Then against Roman Dolce, who was on steroids, admitted it, to come off a 2-year layoff. He gets knocked out in the first round. So there's no really reason that for him coming off 3 losses, he shouldn't be minus 155.
This is like a make or break fight. He probably will be off the roster if he doesn't win this.
Yeah, he probably should be off the roster right now, but for some reason they're giving this guy Danilo Marquez this fight to Kadis Ibragimov. And from watching Danilo Marquez, he doesn't really do anything standing up. He mainly wants to take you down, clinch you up, submit you, usually by a rear naked choke, something like that. Hasn't really fought anyone on Kadis's level, but I think the line is a bit telling that he's minus 155, and plus Danilo hasn't fought in 2 years. Probably gonna be some ring rust. He hasn't fought anyone at Kadis's level or anyone who Kadis has fought before. So I like Kadis minus 155 straight up, but then I also like him to get the KO plus 210. First fight of the night, 2 guys that are pretty sloppy, not the best strikers in the world, 2 guys that are capable of getting gassed out. Kadis needs this fight. He's a 26-year-old fighter, still wants to stay in the UFC. I think minus 155 straight up or in a parlay. And then,
so you're saying Kadis by knockout is plus 210?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. To go to the distance is looking at actually to know is minus 165. So this is leaning towards a knockout, a finished fight.
Yeah. I think this is his fight right here. Move on to my second fight. Second fight is going to be Katlyn Vieira. Katlyn Vieira is coming off a 1-year layoff. A knockout from Irene Aldana, who is no slouch herself. She is fighting Holly Holm coming up. Fight should have happened already, but I think one of them got COVID. She's fighting Sierra Eubanks, who we actually 2 polar opposites. Girl come off a 1-year layoff, knockout, and then Sierra Eubanks coming off a 10-day notice fight. Last fought in Vegas, not even in Abu Dhabi. She fought Julia Avila, who.
Yeah, I was actually a victim of that. Julia Avila, probably too much of a hyped up prospect, and Eubanks the better BJJ.
Yeah.
Fighter, and because Eubanks is usually a fade spot for me. I really don't think she's that great of a fighter, but she was just a veteran there and took the best of Avila.
Yeah, Avila showed a lot of her greenness, I guess you'll say, in that fight. But against Caitlyn, I think it's going to be a whole different story. They kind of got similar body types, big, long, tall, long limbs. But Katlyn does everything pretty damn well. She's a good boxer. She was actually winning the Arena Aldana fight until she got just like hooked in the first round. Didn't even see it coming. BJJ black belt as well. I mean, in Villa, when she got taken down, she didn't even look like she had no idea how to get up. It looked like, and her coach is.
Yeah, that's the main key of this fight is she going to get back up from a Eubanks takedown?
I don't think Eubanks is even going to take her down. To be honest, I mean, she might try. She might clinch her up, but Katlyn's also judo black belt as well. So, so then it comes down to striking. I think Katlyn's a better striker. She's longer. She was piecing up Irene Aldana until she got hooked, so she got caught. And I think she's more locked in. She said this fight she had to lose to get better. She said that she has matured from that last fight. All these things I see as positives. You know, take a step back for a greater leap. I don't know what that saying is, but yeah.
Take one step back for two steps forward.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And that's what I see in the Aldana fight. She got the taste of a top contender. And I mean, plus she's fought way better competition, I think, than Ciara Eubanks. Eubanks has fought Roxanne Modafferi twice, Lauren Murphy, lost to Betch Kohea. She beat Julia Avila, who's more of a prospect. She's 5-4. Ketlin Vieira, 10-1. Her only loss to Aldana. But before that, I mean, she subbed Sarah McMahon, which, you know, Sarah McMahon's as good as anyone on the ground. She beat Kat Zingano when Kat was, you know, fighting for titles. And she beat Ashley Evans Smith, who was tough as well. So I look at this as like a bounce back spot for Katlyn. I think at minus 177, that's my favorite pick of the card.
It's also a big fade spot off of a big upset victory that Eubanks came off of, because she was like plus 240 against Avila.
Yeah, and she's got to be riding high right now.
So this is a letdown spot for her, and it's only like what 10 days apart.
Yeah, 10 days between two fights, cutting weight twice. I mean, she probably doesn't have to cut that much weight because I'm sure she didn't blow up. But
and that fight did, even though she did pretty much dominate Avila, it did go 3 rounds. It wasn't like a Kazmat Shavai's fight where he doesn't get punched. I mean, she did have to use her energy.
Yeah, I actually think that's telling that she wasn't able to submit Julia Avila because, like, I mean, Julia didn't really show anything on the ground to me, and her coaches didn't really do her any help either. I mean, I can go into that fight about more detail, but her coaches kind of gave her like basic, like advice. It wasn't really any technical advice. So, but yeah, I love Katlyn here, and then I also love her by decision. That's plus 100. Because they're both stylistically they're kind of the same fighters, except Katlyn's a little bit bigger, and I think a little bit better in a couple aspects. So I think it's going to be a pretty even fight, but I think Katlyn just gets ahead by the end of the third. I think, you know, she'll just get ahead. I don't really think Ciara has a chance to like knock her out. I don't think either of them really throw with power. I think they're both good enough on the ground to not get submitted. So I like Katlyn by decision as well, plus 100. But to be safe, I'll throw 177. Oh. And then my third pick, I will head to the main event, which is very excited about that. This fight, biggest fight of the year so far. Probably not just, you know, until Gaethje and Khabib get going, but Adesanya and Costa. I don't have a side yet. I'm leaning Adesanya. It honestly looks like the public is on Costa, but it's weird, right?
One thing about that is when this fight opened up, like the betting odds, I really like Costa. I mean, it only opened up Adesanya minus 160, and it looks like Asanya's getting some sharp action, and maybe Costa with the promos every single weekend, they see a guy with like incredible physique. He looks like the Hulk. I think they're just trying. I think the public is trying to maybe get a little gift, some plus money, and I don't think that's the case right now. Betting against a guy who's what 19-0. What's Adesanya's record?
Yeah, I think he's 19-0. I think Costa's like 13-0, or it
Yeah,
might be the other way around. Yeah,
Coach is
that's
definitely 13-0.
yeah. Adesanya 19-0. Anything else?
No, but you were talking about you like the over rounds, right?
I do. I like over 2.5 rounds. That's I think that's a really good spot because you see Adesanya. Um, I think that he has this like this like kind of mirage where like he's just like power where he's like putting these guys to sleep. But he went 5 rounds with Gastelum. He did knock out Robert Whitaker in 2 rounds, but that was a weird fight for Whitaker. Whitaker he was going through a lot of stuff. Um, and then Costa, I think people look at that and they look at him as like a power puncher, but he's also going 5 rounds with everyone
Mhm.
besides like Uriah Hall, which was
This
like
is
way
a
back.
sleeper fight to go over, I think.
Yeah, I think everyone thinks someone's getting knocked out in the first round. I don't see it that way. I see it as like Adesanya usually comes out. He likes to feel his guy, like
Yeah,
feel out.
he's not the most active fighter, honestly. He's more like a wonder boy fighter. He likes to keep his distance and, as you
Yeah,
said, like have precision with his strikes, but keep you at a distance so he doesn't get attacked.
especially against like a powerful guy like Costa. Like he doesn't want to hop right into the pocket. He never presses the action. We saw it against Yoel Romero. And then Costa, I watched a lot of the interviews that he's been saying. He said he's not going to do what he usually does. I'll believe it when I see it. But he says he's going to press the action and then he's going to step off the gas pedal, cut it, control center to octagon, and let Adesanya press the action. I'll believe that when I see it, but I think he's going to try to do that. And when someone says that, it usually only happens like the first 1 or 2 rounds, and then as like the third, fourth, fifth round goes, they they'll show them true selves as a
Yeah,
fighter.
I think if there is going to be a first round knockout, it's Costa coming full speed at him.
Yeah,
Either.
and I think Adesanya is too good defensively
Mhm.
to. I don't think he's going to get knocked out like that.
If you had to pick a side, who are you leaning?
Probably Izzy. I think Izzy. At first I like that line too. I was like, that's weird that he's not favored. But then this is a fight that's getting really hyped up. This is a fight that a lot of people are going to watch. A lot of people are going to buy this fight. Everyone, this is like one of these guys is going to come out on the other end as like a superstar. I feel like
Mhm.
if Adesanya is not already. So maybe making like what you said, making the line a little bit lower might help the books a little bit with whoever wins. Um, but yeah, and plus they're both really durable guys, so that's why I kind of like that over 2.5.
Mhm.
Um,
Honestly, I don't think the books give Asanya that much credit to begin with. Um, versus Romero, he soft opened up at 185, but then he ended up being minus 300. This is actually basically the lowest he opened up, minus 140, since his third fight in the UFC versus Brad Tavares.
wow. Well, I mean, Costa, he's worthy of having that line, I guess.
Actually, versus Whitaker, he was plus.
Really?
That's insane, yeah. Holy shit.
Wow, he doesn't. I did not realize how much
He
respect
doesn't
he
get that
gets.
much respect.
Holy shit! That I
So,
would have never
okay, so now
favored.
you have to, if you're betting this, you have to say, is Costa better than Whitaker, or at that point of his career, or not?
Well, that's interesting because they both kind of have similar styles. They're both going to hop in and throw really hard and look for that knockout. And both do it differently, but to dumb it down to keep it the most basic way, like they do have really similar styles. And after Adesanya, what he did to Whitaker, who hops in and throws hard and tries to hop out, why can't he do that against Costa?
Yeah. I think, if anything, probably fade the hot prospect in Costa. I mean, he's still a prospect in my eyes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he went through a war with Yoel Romero. He's definitely like he's a worthy top 5 contender, but this might just add to the
Joel
resume.
Romero, did you think his career is in the second half?
Yeah. I mean, he's in the final like eighth of his career, but well, so I say. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him fighting at like 50 years
I
old.
mean, yeah, Costa's young. I still think he's a prospect. I mean, it's not a deep division, um, and I think this is going to push whoever wins into superstardom.
Yeah, especially if it's as
I'll be
bloody and violent.
above John Jones status.
Uh, it's different because I mean, John Jones definitely he had that.
On a UFC level for UFC fans.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's comparing Adesanya to Anderson Silva, so like
Mm-hmm.
it's it's a
That's a
lot
good
to live up
comparison.
to. Yeah, so I mean, the longer he stays the champion of this division, the bigger he gets,
Mm-hmm.
and I would love to see that. But before I move on to my parlay, I got two stats I want to throw out there real quick about the over 2.5. I don't really get into the numbers a lot, but in 2020, there's been 13 title fights. 9 of those 13 have gone over 2.5 rounds, and then 11 of the 14 main events of the last 14 main events have also gone over. I don't know if if that has anything to do with like the training camps and COVID, but that means something.
Probably also the 5 round fights. I think fighters don't want to come out guns blazing in the first round and
Right. A lot of
save their
pacing.
energy, pace themselves.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I think I lean Lizzie there.
Mm.
Well, main event breakdown, and then my three picks were Costa Adesanya over 2.5 rounds -155. Kadi Sabragimov -155, and then Caitlyn Vieira -177. I actually have a lot of confidence in these picks. This is I have my best stuff for the football video, but this is why. This is why. um, Now I'm gonna move on to my parlay here. I kind of have two. It's I have a 3-legger and 4-legger. The 4-legger consists of the 3-legger plus one, but that's gonna be a Katlyn Vieira. I think I love her this week. Then I have Brad Riddell. He's -300. I'm a little bit surprised he's -300, but with all the Aussies fight on this card, they actually like locked themselves in their training camp at City Kickboxing for like 3 weeks before this fight. And they were like all roommates, and they were all like training together all day, every day, eating together, hanging out together, watching TV. There's a lot of like
Who else is in
companionship.
that City Kickboxing?
You got Riddell, you got Adesanya, you got Kai Kara France, who's fighting. You got Shane Young, who's fighting on this card as well. So you got for those four. Volkanovski trains there. Dan Hooker
The
trains there as
4
well.
guys on this card are in the same camp.
Yeah,
That's insane.
all the Aussies. This fight was probably going to be in like down under somewhere, probably like Sydney or somewhere in like New Zealand. But yeah, that's Brad Riddell's fighting Alex De Silva. He's -300 to still. Actually don't have their like Tapology up right now, but I know Brad Riddell fought Mustafayev, Magomed Mustafayev, his last fight. He knocked him down. Dude was trying to grapple him the entire time. Couldn't get him down. Or he got him down a couple times, but he hopped right back up. I think Alex De Silva is going to try and do the same thing, but just not as technical with his takedowns. He's got that like Brazilian like jiu-jitsu where like he just kind of like sits on a takedown and kind of like waits for you to move, then he'll capitalize. I think Brad Riddell's too good to get taken down and kept down. And then as the fight goes on, his striking's legit. I mean, he's only got 9 MMA fights, but I think he's got over like 30 kickboxing fights, Muay Thai fights, something like that. So the guy's got a lot of experience. And as the fight goes on, I think the striking will be on display. So it's Riddell, Katlyn, and then I got Kai Kara France and Royval to go to decision. Flyweights. Kai Kara is a pretty technically sound guy. Royval, he's a good boxer. He's a creative striker, creative with his jiu-jitsu. But I think they're pretty good defensively, and I don't think either of them's going to take a lot of damage. Might get scrambly, might get scrappy, but don't think either of these guys is going to submit or knock each other out. So Riddell, Katlyn, Kai Kara, and Roy Val to go to decision. That's plus 227. Then if you want to get even crazier, I'm going to throw Dominic Reyes in there, plus 341. Yeah, I think if you want to talk about the co-main event as well, I can break that down. Tell you why I like Dominic Reyes here. Yeah, I think this is Reyes' fight. He looked great in the John Jones fight. Some people even thought he won that. He's a lot taller than Jan Blachowicz, but they actually have. I think he gives up an inch in reach, but that doesn't mean as much when a guy's like that much taller than you. He's a good wrestler. Jan's a good wrestler. Jan's going to try and take him down not try and take him down the entire time, but his base is wrestling, so he might shoot the takedowns. But that's going to be taxing over 5 rounds. I think Reyes is ready for that. And I think, Jan, he knocked out, to get this title shot, he knocked down Johnny Walker, who we saw against Ryan Spann. Dude's got no equilibrium. That dude has no idea how to control his own body.
I mean, yeah, Johnny Walker almost got knocked out versus Spann, actually.
That's true. I actually think – wait, did he not? He knocked out Luke Rockhold. So he knocked out – yeah. Oh,
he knocked out Luke Rockhold. I don't think he ever fought Johnny Walker, to be honest.
Yeah, because I was thinking of Corey Anderson, who Jan also knocked out, which was the fight after the Johnny Walker fight for Corey, who's not even in the UFC anymore. But no, Jan knocked out Luke Rockhold, who hadn't fought in like a year and a half, 2 years. Comes up from 185 to 205, where he's never fought before. Guy's never been known for his durability and his chin. He knocks him out, flatlines him. Then he fights Corey Anderson after the Johnny Walker fight. He knocks out Corey Anderson, who's never really been anything special. He knocked out the guy who's kind of been exposed now, Johnny Walker. He's not even in the UFC anymore. So he kind of earns this title shot, if you want to call it kind of fraudulent. I don't really think you're not really going to get fraudulent
that's not
title shot
either.
Right. So it's kind of like a weekly earned title shot, if you want to put it that way. I'm not discrediting it, but that's kind of what it is. Then you got Dominic Reyes, fought, to get to his title shot, which people think he beat John Jones. He knocked down Chris Weidman, a former 185 champ. I guess you can make the same comparisons to Rockhold and Weidman, but I think Weidman's a little bit tougher and more chinny than Rockhold. But Reyes, I think he earned the fact that he's fought in that he went 5 rounds with Jones and had to really push himself. We saw him kind of gassing out in that 3rd and 4th, 5th round. He now he knows he's got that experience in those 5 rounds. I don't really think Jan's going to be able to close the distance that easily against this guy. I mean, he looked pretty good defensively against John Jones too. So I think Jan's definitely live at plus 240, but that's why I put Dominic Reyes at minus 280, because I think I think he probably wins the fight.
I feel like Reyes is probably a parlay piece, if anything, instead of laying the chalk. Because we can't put too much on it that he went to the distance with John Jones, which is, you don't know what you're getting with John Jones anymore.
True. He just kind of tried to put that technical display on all these guys. But yeah, I think you're right with that. That's why I put him in my parlay. But if you throw my first parlay in there with Dominic Reyes, that's plus 341. And then I'll move on to my underdog.
So you do have a plus underdog?
I do have a plus underdog. There's a couple underdogs I actually like. I think Brandon Royval has a good shot to win. But I have a feeling Kai Kara might just, with his experience and the guys he's fought, Royval's second UFC fight, I think he's going to get it done. I like this dude Ludovic Klein, but then I was like, he's just knocking guys out in Poland. But he's coming off short notice against Shane Young, who's city kickboxing guy. I mean, this is an Aussie card. He doesn't want to lose. So I'll go to the fight before that, Shane Young, Ludovic Klein. It's going to be, I want to pick William Knight at plus 140 right now. He was 160. He comes down to 140. He's fighting Alexa Kamur. So William Knight, he had 2 fights on the Contender Series, I believe.
Yeah, he fought in the Contender Series September 1st, it looks like.
Yeah, and he got a knockout win over Cody Barnage, where he was pretty much getting out-grappled the entire time, but that guy's a freak wrestler, it seemed. But now he gets a shot in UFC on short notice against Alexa Kamur, who has one UFC fight against Justin Ledet. And at first, I was like, oh, he's got the experience. But then I'm like, Justin Ledet, who's Justin Ledet? Like, Justin Ledet hasn't really fought anyone. I mean, I think he got knocked out by the Vanilla Gorilla at one point. Like, he's not some UFC like stalwart. He's just a guy. He's just a boxer that also does MMA. But that's why I kind of like William Knight. Like, you saw Alexa Kamuri. I mean, he was in that first fight, he was gassing out in like the first round. And I mean, William Knight, he looks like James Harrison. Like, this dude's jacked. This dude's got like 22-inch like fucking arms. You saw him?
No, I need to watch him then.
Oh, you gotta see him. He's fucking huge. And he's actually like really soft spoken too. He's like that complete like opposite voice that you would expect. But yeah, I think with that body and that build, you're prone to gassing out in every fight.
That's what usually happens with those juicy guys.
And this dude is fucking. You think Paulo Costa's juicy? This dude's fucking.
Alonzo juicy ass Benefield can't even last around.
That's. I mean that guy. I don't think we did that fight card, but
we did a fight card where you picked, I think, Benefield, but it actually he got postponed because of COVID, and we didn't end up doing the next fight card we actually fought. Yeah,
what a disappointment that dude was from that card. But William Knight is not Alonzo Benefield. William Knight actually does a pretty good job of like conserving. I think he knows that he's gonna get out at some point, so he doesn't try to exert himself like crazy in the first round. But Alexa Kamur does. And in that second round, he gasses out hard.
Mm-hmm.
And the third round, and to his credit, he still pushes through it. But you can tell, I mean, he's breathing through his mouth, labored shots. And then, like, William Knight, like, I think he gets knockout here. I actually really like him at plus 140. And I also like that fight to go under, like, 1.5 rounds, I think. This fight's kind of got, like, one round knockout written all over it. And if he gets on top of you, I think there's no way you're getting him off you.
It sounds like
ground and pound you.
Interesting fight.
Yeah. But there's my picks.
All right, that's it. He hooked you guys up. Hope you guys enjoy the fight Saturday, drink a couple beers, hang out. I think we're going to be watching the fights. Maybe tweet out a little bit.
Yeah.
That's it for us. Make sure you watch our football video and have a good weekend betting.
Yeah. Content out the ass right now.
Peace out.
See you.